Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zeng Kong. Homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa. And homage to Master Dukten Darji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa, of the Vajra Dhatu and Dharma Dhatus, the Vairocana Buddha, the Great Sun Buddha. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here as well as over the webcast, and our guest of honors today, the Chief Secretary of Taiwan Government, Mr. Cheng, from Academia Sinica, Professor Zhu and Mrs. Zhu, from the DPP Party of Tainan City, the Chief Director, Mr. Tsai, from National Sung Kung University, WE Professor, Dr. Wong, from National Zhongzheng University, WE Special Guest Professor Dr. Wong, from National Yilan University, WE Assistant Professor Ms. Dr. Lin, from National Yunlin Science and Technology University, WE Professor Dr. Wang, from National Taiwan Science and Technology University Business Management Professor Dr. Lin and Mrs. Lin, from Pingtung Daren Science and Technology University, the Assistant Professor, Doctor in Education, Ms. Ye, from National Tsinghua University, Dr. Lee and Mrs. Lee, and a senior from His Holiness Alumni, who's also the Assistant Professor of the Survey Engineering Department of Zhongzheng Institute of Technology, Professor Sen, and the alumni of the same class of His Holiness Mr. and Mrs. Zhu, and a junior of His Holiness Alumni, Mr. Wu, from the KMT Party, the representative of the Kaohsiung City Vice Chair, Ms. Xu, Attorneys to the Buddha Foundation, Mr. Zhuo, the well-known TV personality, Mr. Tai Ziyan, producers for the Feng Sung Wu Shuang, executive producer Mr. Lee, from Malaysian Xiong Wen Tang, the 23rd lineage holder, Dharma Sister Lien Ao, and the 24th lineage holder, Dharma Brother Zheng Hui. And from the Malaysian Lotus Light Charitable Society, the director, Master Lien Zi, and 70 of the members, who came from the east coast of Malaysia, and an author on the psychology of the two shores, Miss Sangguan Zhao Yi, and producers for the Illuminating Your Heart of CTI TV, Miss Rebecca Su, and producers of the Platform Sutra and Development Stages of Tantayana, Master Yuan Yue, and the host, Dharma Sister Pei Jun.
My sister, Lu Sheng-yen.
And Dharma Brother Qizong and his mother. And many more guests of honors. And all of you and all the guests of honors, good afternoon. How do you do? So today we had the main deity of the Vajra Dhatu and Dharma Dhatu, the Vairocana Buddha, the Great Sun Buddha. So the Great Sun Buddha is also called Vairocana Buddha, and it's also called the Omni Shining Vajra, which means that he radiates upon everywhere and everyone. So why is he called the Great Sun? Because we use the sun as a symbol, like the sun that shines upon everywhere. But actually there are places that the sun cannot reach, but there is no other thing that can represent. So that's why we call him the Great Sun Buddha, or the Great Sun Tathagata. So it's omni shining, so it's shining everywhere, the Vajra's name. I've been to Xi'an and to the Qinglong Temple, the Green Dragon Temple, and there was the old monk Hui Guo, where the old monk Hui Guo and the Kukai or Kobudaishi, they had the statues of these two people, Hui Guo and Kobudaishi. And there was a tower there that's called the Looking Out the Sea. Because when Kobudaishi went to the old monk Hui Guo to study Dharma, and then he went back to Japan after that, and then the guru, the teacher, and the disciple never met again afterwards. And the old monk Hui Guo really liked Kukai or Kobudaishi. Right? Kukai. Kukai. So Kobudaishi, the same as Kukai. So at that time in Japan like to learn from China, so they sent a lot of convoys or messengers to China to study. And one of them was Kobudaishi. And he went all the way to Xi'an. And he studied Tantric Buddhism from the old monk Huiguo. And there were others. One of them was called the Chuanjiao Great Master. He went to Tiantai Mountain and also studied the Tantric Buddhism. And he returned to Japan first. And he founded the Tantric sect that's called the Thai Tantric Buddhism. And then Kobudaishi went to Xi'an and learned from the old monk Huiguo. And when he returned to Japan, he founded Dongmi, which is the Eastern Tantric Buddhism. And in China, it is called the Chinese Tantric Buddhism. And at that time, there were Subharaka Simha, Vajrabodhi, and Amoga that went to the Tang Dynasty, that came from India to China during the Tang Dynasty, and they founded the Chinese Tantric Buddhism. So the old monk Huiguo transmitted Buddha Dharma to Kukai. And the root deity or the yidam of Kukai is Vairocana Buddha, or the Great Sun Buddha. That's why his name is called the All-Shining Vajra. So there are many masters that went to China and returned. So Kobudaishi brought back the writings and the culture of China back to Japan. So he is a great person, not only in the religious field, but also in the art and culture, or in the literary field. So the yidam of Kobudaishi is Vairocana Buddha. And Vairocana Buddha is revered by Japanese Tantrayana, whether it's Vajradhatu or Dharmadhatu. So there's this history. So why was the tower of looking out at sea was built? Because when the teacher was longing for his disciple, he would climb up the mountain and look out to the ocean. Actually, in Xi'an, it was not by the sea. But actually what it meant is it was looking out toward Kobudaishi. So even the teacher could miss the disciple, and the disciples could also miss the teacher. So this is quite amazing. And just now I also mentioned Akalanata, who is highly revered in Japan or in Japanese Tantrayana, because he is an emanation of Vairocana. So Akalanata is an emanation of Vairocana. So why are they Vajradhatu and Dharmadhatu? So now let's first talk about Dharmadhatu. Dharmadhatu is about the cause, and Vajradhatu is about the result or the fruit. So Dharmadhatu is the emanation of the concept, and Vajradhatu is the emanation of the wisdom. So it's two different emanations One is concept emanation, the other one is a wisdom emanation. So one is about the cause, the other one is about the fruit or the effect. And in the Dharma Dhatu and Vajra Dhatu, there are many deities, many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and Herukas, and Dharma protectors, and Dakas, Dakinis, and all the celestial beings are included in the Dharma Dhatu and Vajra Dhatu. In Tibetan Tantrayana, it's rather rare, but in Japanese Tantrayana, it's very common. It's easily found. So, whenever we encounter the Japanese Tantrayana, you come across Vajra Dhatu and Dharma Dhatu. Or the temples in Japan, there are lots of statues and Dharma Dhatus and Vajra Dhatus, or presentations of them, but rarely found in Tibet. So Kobudaishi was truly great. He built 88 spiritual centers in Shikoku. Grandmaster's been there, and in one of the temples there, Kobudaishi had his calligraphy there on the plaque. And when the disciples saw that, they recognized that's like Grandmaster's writings or calligraphy. It's exactly like Grandmaster's Chinese calligraphy. So Grandmaster has lived in Japan before. I had once been born in Japan before. That left me a great impression. It's not Kobudaishi, but it's called Tasen Omori, Thailand, son, and my wife. This came out from my memory. These names. So I had great affinity with Japan. My Japanese is not that good, but I learned one statement, Aishiteru. I love you. Aishiteru. I love you. Oh, let's go together. Ikimasho. Let's go. Ikimasho. Let's strive for this fruition together. When you first meet, you would say Yoroshiku. Yoroshiku. It's like when you first meet in Japan. We have lots of Japanese experts here. Professor Ye teaches Japanese, and we have a Japanese teacher. There are many Japanese teachers here. Also a female Japanese teacher. I've been to all the places in Japan, to Kyushu, Honshu, Hokkaido, Shikoku, all the 4 great islands, and all the surrounding small islands. And that island next to 心 It's the island where they imprison the head of the 热莲, which is the day lotus sack. You don't even know about this Japan. If you don't even know, how would I know? How about me? But I've been to the island. Xinxie, which is, they have the best rice there. Let's not talk about Japan too much. Let's back to the point. But because of this deity, Vairocana Buddha and Akalanata, who are highly revered by Japanese, and they are the main deities there. Kami-sama is like gods or deities. So today I have transmitted Vairocana Buddha Dharma before, and the mantra chanting practice of both the Vajradhatu and Dharmadhatu of Vairocana, and you can follow the procedure. There are 2 mudras or 3. One is the Dharma turning wheel, one is the 5-finger mudra, and the other one is meditation mudra. Let me form it for you. The first one is the 5 wisdom mudra. The second one is the meditation mudra, and the third one is the Dharma turning wheel mudra, the mantra. That's of the Vajradhatu. That's of the Dharmadhatu. So the Dharmadhatu is of the water, earth, water, fire, wind, and space. So is the Vairocana Buddha, the great Sun Buddha, the all-shining Vajra of the Vajradhatu and Dharmadhatu. So with the form, the mudra and the mantra, this comprises the mantra chanting practice procedure. So that's the introduction of Vairocana Buddha. Now let's talk about Hevajra. On chapter 41, Hevajra's 10 key teachings. On the 6th, point number 6, the difficulty of samadhi is due to drowsiness or being too uptight. Yet Hevajra samadhi can, in case of drowsiness, help focus the mind qi into a house of emptiness. This is the secret on the channel character. In case of being too uptight, focus the mind qi on the left and right cement and blood channels. This is very important. Point number 6, this is very profound and very deep. We have called the family convenience store, and they have this motto that the family store is your house, is your home. So there's this question. So someone went to the family convenience store and ate a sandwich, drank milk, and a few other things, and didn't pay, and he left. So the storekeeper asked, "How come you left without paying?" "Because it's my home. Why do I have to pay?" "Because if it is my home, then I don't have to pay." "How could it be your home? This is family store." "But your motto there said that the family store is your home." So there is a discrepancy here in the language. Talking about the difficulty of samadhi, samadhi is very difficult because it cannot be put into words. It's impossible to describe using words. That in samadhi you could also see the Buddha nature. And you cannot also describe Buddha nature with words. That's why Sakyamuni Buddha took a flower. Oh, there's a flower here. Just hold a flower. When Sakyamuni Buddha was teaching Buddha nature, he took hold of the flower. And nobody understood what it meant. Oh no. Only Mahakashyapa smiled. He understood. That's why he obtained the lineage of Zen. This samadhi is very difficult, and Buddha nature is impossible to describe. The Guru said, a single palm, so a single palm clapping, how could it be possible? Because you need two palms to clap, which means it is impossible to create sound with it. That's Buddha nature. And that's samadhi. Even samadhi cannot be described. It's very hard to describe because it has no form, no taste, no colors, no look, no appearance, nothing. Only then it is called samadhi. Only then it is Buddha nature. So Grandmaster said, and Grandmaster wants to show the Buddha nature, he would stand on one leg. See, after you see that, you don't even know what it is. It's just standing on a leg, on one leg. There was a monk who hit the ground, and someone asked him, "What is Buddha nature?" And he would just hit the ground. So these are all cannot be put into words. So samadhi is very hard. How hard? It's hard to be put into words. Once you say it, then it's not right. It has no time nor space. And every day Grandmaster performs samadhi or meditate. When after I do my tantric practice, I went back to my room. I go back to my room, turn off the light, make it dark, close my eyes and I lay down. It's a sleeping meditation. First, I perform the 9 cycle Buddha breathing, and the Dharma flow entered into me. And in a moment, the whole body becomes clear white and empty. And I don't even know where I am. And I don't know where I go. And I don't think of anything. And when it's time for meals, Simu would turn on the light, and I open my eyes. Oh, it turned out I'm in my room. And in between, I have no thinking whatsoever in between. And I don't even know where my mind is or where my body is. And you have no dreams at all. No dreams. And no thinking, no thoughts. This is samadhi. It's not affected by any external circumstances because you don't even know where you are. And when I open my eyes, only then I would know I'm in my room. So you don't even know where you are. And you have no thoughts, no dreams. Everything's empty. Only then it is called samadhi. Or Chan. At this time, only at this time, the Buddha nature will appear. So the most important thing is the mind chi. The mind chi is centered in a house of emptiness. So your body is a house of emptiness. Nothing in there. It's an empty house. At this time, you will not feel any drowsiness, because if you feel drowsy, you would fall asleep. Drowsy, falling asleep, sleepy, or being too uptight, it's impossible for you to enter into samadhi. So being too uptight, in today's world you can call it being too hectic, too active. So drowsiness, that's like depression. So being too uptight is like being compulsive, obsessive compulsive. But samadhi is you're neither drowsy nor uptight. So this is there is a character on your channel, and that's the kong, which is the empty or void. That becomes the original chi. That has no form, no color. No noise or sound about it. No appearance, no time, no space. That would be the true samadhi. It's very difficult. If you fell asleep, you would have dreams. That would be a different realm. So if you're uptight, then you would not be able to fall into sleep, and your mind keeps turning. And dreams are between drowsiness and uptight. But the true samadhi, there's none of this. So samadhi is like this. That's all I could explain about it. So what I missed earlier, if one masters this and observant and mindful, drowsiness and uptight are naturally corrected. So in samadhi, there is no beautiful or ugliness, there is no good or bad, there's nothing. And one will realize the clear birth of self, attaining the highest realm of samadhi, of uncontaminated birth of self. So a son told the mom that the students in class today selected who would be the most beautiful mom, and you're selected. And the mom was really pleased and asked how. Because these are twin sons, and because everyone voted for his or her mom, but you have two sons, twins, so you got 2 votes, so you won. Everyone voted for his or her own mom. But in samadhi, there isn't anything that who is most beautiful. You cannot even fathom beauty and ugliness. And it's hard to have a standard of fixed concept about it. Why? So think about it. When your wife is going out and dressing up to be very beautiful, put on makeup, just like this movie star or the singer, and you find her to be really beautiful, especially under the candlelight, during the candlelight dinner. Oh, so beautiful. But then after coming home and sleeping, and the next morning, and when you see her the next morning, you thought, oh no, is this a ghost here? So how do you differentiate between beauty and ugliness? And look at South Korea. Grandmaster wants to go to Korea. And coming back, I would become a 30-year-old after going to South Korea. Who would I want to be? Oh, Ching-Cheng-Wu. Had he had any plastic surgery? Ching-Cheng-Wu. There's a movie star. So your grandmaster would become short and handsome, not tall and handsome. So beauty and ugliness, there's no differences. If you just go to South Korea, and you would become beautiful. Look at the Korean girls. They would have the same face, like a dozen of them, and they all look the same. They just wear this different clothes. Oh no, the world has become like this. So what the Buddha said was right. The Buddha nature is like this. Everything is the same. So when you're in meditation, there is a true equality and there's no differentiation at all. So if you truly recognize your own Buddha nature, then you would know that all the myriad things of this world They are all just a phenomena of a moment, and they are all a false, illusory thing. But the true face is like what the Buddha said, that there is equality and no differentiation at all. In order to be in samadhi or meditation, you have to have a mind of equality. Otherwise, they're all just nonsense. Because if you have no mind of equality, it is impossible for you to enter into samadhi. If you're worried, if you have afflictions, how can you enter into samadhi? If you have emotions and feelings, how could you enter into samadhi? You have to take out your emotions and feelings and all your self or ego to be taken, your afflictions, your troubles, your worries. Why would one have afflictions? Because there is self. If there is no self, you have no afflictions anymore. Suffering, emptiness, impermanence, no self, nirvana. Nirvana is also called the Dharma seal. A lot of people ask their master never to enter into nirvana. What is nirvana? Now I like to ask all of you, what is nirvana? Masters, you have the greatest wisdom. What is nirvana? Say it. Tell me. Share it with me. So you've learned, you study for a long time. Do you know what nirvana is? No birth and no death. It's called nirvana. Oh, it's somewhat right. Oh, you know, but I like to tell you that it's impossible to describe nirvana. A lot of people tell me never to enter into nirvana. Let me give you an example. Then you would know what is nirvana. There's a girl that loves children. And finally, this woman gives birth to a son. And she loves him very much. And after the woman gives birth to this son, not long afterwards, in a few short years, he died. The son contracted the bird's flu and died. When he get the son, she was very happy every day. Loved him very much. And when the son died, she was extremely sad and grieving. And then she opened her eyes and realized that it was just a dream. So between the birth and the death of the baby, that was all in the dream. And my happiness and my grief, they were all in the dream. So when all of a sudden she opened her eyes and it turned out all was just a dream. And because it's a dream, it's no big deal. It's no problem. So she didn't feel happy nor sad. So I like to tell you, this is nirvana. If you awaken, So when you awaken, that's called nirvana. You keep saying, exclaiming, please stay continually in the Saha world, never to enter into nirvana. So you're telling me never to wake up? Oh, that's too much. You ask me to be in the dream all the time? That's too much. I'm the awakened one. I'm a truly enlightened one. Once you're enlightened, there isn't anything called nirvana or reincarnation. Nirvana and reincarnation do not exist for them. Let me tell you another thing that perhaps you never heard of before, or maybe you have. Things related to nirvana and reincarnation. In one life, Padma Kumara long ago, Padma Kumara descended in India, and it was a very beautiful lady. Very beautiful lady. And she went to work every day and left work every day and made dinner, had breakfast, lunch, dinner. And during holidays, vacations, she would travel. So her life consists about work, vacation, and then breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And she felt this is not right. It's meaningless to live like this all the time. So she wanted to renunciate, to leave the mundane world. And she became a nun, shaved her hair, and went to the temples and became ordained. And after she became a nun, she did all the ordained work, which is reciting sutras, reciting mantras, reciting Buddha's name, and every day cleaning, changing the offerings, incense and lamps, and do all the Dharma work. And after a while, she found that this is becoming a routine. Every day is the same. And all of a sudden, she got an inspiration from the Buddha. You should marry a prince. In India, there were many kings, and asked her to marry a prince. So the nun left the ordination and became a laity again, this Padma Kumara. So she got married to this prince, and she was beautiful, so the prince loved her and married her, and she gave birth to a child, and the name of the child is Wuzo, which is like Asanga Bodhisattva. So Asanga Bodhisattva is the child born by, which is Asanga, which is the first patriarch of the Yogacara, consciousness only school. And then she heard again that you should leave this prince and find another handsome man and marry him. So she went to find a tall and handsome man and married him. And she gave birth to a second son. And the second son is Shichin. It's Vasubandhu. So her two sons, this emanation of Padma Kumara, one is Asanga Bodhisattva and the other one is Vasubandhu Bodhisattva. So they are brothers of the same mother and different fathers. So think about it. This nun, did she commit a crime, a sin? Of course. She became a nun. First she renunciated and then became a nun and then left the nunhood and got married, not just once, twice. But she gave birth to two bodhisattvas. One is Asanga and the other is Vasubandhu. So the future reincarnation, how would it be? But that nun, do you know that that's Padma Kumara? So reincarnation, how is it done? And nirvana, how is it? Don't you find it interesting? How would you calculate it? How would you say? So let me share a joke. There are two kids standing in front of the civil service department, and we're very curious seeing the couple who just registered for marriage. And then the kids said, okay, let's play a joke on them. And then they said, okay, sure. So they went to this man and called him Dad. They just registered for marriage. And the kids played a joke. But think about it. So isn't that very special? That reincarnation is impossible to be deduced, and also nirvana is impossible to be deduced. So about samadhi, if in case of drowsiness, you focus the mind chi in the house of emptiness, and in case of being to uptake, you focus the mind chi on the left and right channels, the two channels. If you master this and extremely observant and mindful, drowsiness and uptightness are naturally corrected. And then you will realize the clear birth of self, attaining the highest realm of samadhi, of uncontaminated birth of self. So Grandmaster, after completing my tantric practice, I do my sleeping meditation or sleeping samadhi. But don't copy me, because sleeping meditation has no thoughts, no time, no space, no form, no appearance, and you don't even know, and not sleeping either. And this is the highest realm of samadhi. And on number 7, Hevajra's great power. Hevajra has great power, very strong, indestructible. These are due that the mind chi focus on the secret area, on the channel character, and this is enough to eliminate all demonic obstructions. So I like to say that Grandmaster has eliminated all the demonic obstructions. So like the Raksas, Yaksas, meat-eater demons, Yama demons, and cannot be caught by them, or all the other wild beasts or weapons, swords and knives, and we have teachings for the best kind of protections. So if I don't explain this, you would not know. Why is Hevajra has the greatest power and strongest and indestructible? This is related to our custom and habits. Like in India, there are yogi, traveling yogi. They are carrying the alms bowl and asking for almsgiving. So wherever they ask, they would be given. So if they are yogi or they are monks, then people would give them alms. And it also works in Thailand. If you take out your alms bowl, people would give you something. In Taiwan, it works halfway. Some people would be compassionate and give you a little bit, but some people just ignored you completely. This is a matter of custom. If you go to America or Europe, so the traveling yogi or the homeless from India carrying an alms bowl in America or Europe and asking for food, that would be impossible, because they don't have such a custom giving food to people or money. That would not exist there. So it's a matter of custom. So today you're ordained and you go around asking for food. It's very rare these days in Taiwan. If we go as a group, maybe people would give us some money. In Taiwan, maybe halfway. In Bhutan, it also works. The yogis deep in the mountains, and when they have no more food to eat, they would come out and beg for food or ask for food, and then when they get more food, they would return to their retreat in the mountains. So the power, the strength and indestructibility of Hevajra shows the power of his spiritual cultivation. So in your body, it shows your great power, strength and indestructibility. And because the mind and the chi focus on the secret chakra, secret area. If you focus your mind and chi on the secret area, you would become very strong, indestructible, and have great power. So this is okay in India. So this is due to the custom of India, because this was came from India. So if you say that Hevajra has great power, strength and indestructibility, the Taiwanese would not know. But actually it's in the secret area. If you practice until you don't leak even a drop, now let me share a joke. If I have a child now, I would name him Lu Qi. Why? Qi means 7 because I give birth, I bear children at 70s. So if I have a child in my 80s, I would call him Lu Pa, Lu 8. Or if I have a child in my 90s, I would call him Lu Jiu or Lu 9. But Grandmaster would like to state that Grandmaster is strong. You know about the strength, the strong, the great power and indestructibility. That his body and mind is non-leaking. It would never leak the light drops. If anyone says that I have a child anywhere, then you can check their DNAs and then you would know that Grandmaster has great power, strength and indestructibility. So if someone said that I have children, that's nonsense. So in spiritual cultivation, you would be able to gain this. So as long as you know that in the secret chakra you have great power, strength and indestructibility, all the ghosts and the gods would be afraid of you. So in Bhutan there is the divine madman. What is he called? Yeah. So what did he use to subdue all the yaksa, raksa, even the demons, the yama demons? He used that thing. Trukpa Kungli of Bhutan. And then all the ghosts would run away. Because of the great power, the strength and the indestructibility, that thing became a weapon. And because of that weapon, they all ran away. But if you show that weapon in Taiwan, all the women would run away. Then you would be caught and imprisoned. Then you would be in the news as the nude exhibition. So this protection is that so that you become this body and mind are indestructible. That's number 7. This is okay in India or deep in the mountains. It's not allowed in Bhutan, only for the divine madman. So what I say here is not made up. These are all true facts. There's this joke that in going shopping, there was a beggar that asked, talked to the couple and said, I'm a blind person, why don't you give me something? And then The wife kind of nudged him and said, "No, he's not blind." So he asked, "So is my wife beautiful?" And the beggar said, "Beautiful." And then he said, "Oh, he is really blind." So Grandmaster doesn't made up words or tell lies. That the Hevajra's great power, strength, and indestructibility are real facts. And if you had the fruition of Hevajra, you are truly like this, whether for 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. Who can prove this? I cannot say that many people can prove this. I can only say that Simu can confirm it, right? Can I say it or not? You said that the other day. You said, I remember it clearly. You said I would never be able to leave you. Right? She didn't raise her hand this time. Amitabha, please spare me. 8. All Mahayana and Tantayana teachings, such as Sravakas, Pratyeka Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Buddhas, the 6 rebirth realms, reincarnation and nirvana, and the 37 bodhicittas, and all the realizations of the 3 vehicle teachings, all included in the yogic sensations and sceneries of Hevajra, without any differentiations or discrepancies. So Sravakas, that's like Hinayana. The Pratyeka Buddhas is enlightened due to the 12 causes and conditions. Bodhisattvas, the great vehicles. Buddha, Mahayana, Bodhisattvas and Buddhas are Mahayanas. The 6 rebirth realms and incarnations. And Nirvana, the 37 bodhicittas, and all the realizations of the 3 vehicles teachings. So what is Hinayana? So the precepts of Hinayana is never to harm others. And not to harm others and help others, that's the precepts of Mahayana. That's bodhisattvas, the precepts of bodhisattvas. So for Hinayana, never to harm others. So some people say, if they practice Hinayana Buddhism and they harm others, that's not right. But if you don't harm others and you help them, that's Mahayana Buddhism. And then the Vajrayana, that you view everything as pure, as clean. That's Vajrayana. So just now I talk about the mother of Asanga Bodhisattva and Vasu Bandhu or Bodhisattva. She is of Vajrayana. Why? Because she views everything as helping sentient beings. Because complies to everything she did, complies to emptiness, to purity. So the conduct of Vajrayana is pure. Because everything is pure, that's why it is empty nature. So everything is considered pure in Vajrayana. So there is no differentiation. So on the day where they get report cards, all the kids, all the students were happy except A. And then the teacher asked A, "What happened? Your report cards were very good." And then A said, "Mom set the goal for me that it has to have a score of 90, otherwise you cannot go home. But your grade is 99. But A said, "But Mom said it's 90, not 99, so now I cannot go home." So Grandmaster would like to tell you, as long as you are empty nature, then you have a score of 100. That there is no differentiation, no differences. And in Vajrayana, it is completely empty and pure. Pure nature. Once you attain purity and empty nature, once you confirm the Buddha nature, then there isn't anything as 90 or 99, you are 100.